Hello, hello! Welcome back to Theater 237. This is the second video for Blood and Gore. So we are going to check to see if that's super dry. And I'm having some latex come back up on my finger, so I'm actually going to let that sit for a little bit longer. Since we made it kind of a little bit of a thicker layer, it will take longer to dry. So instead I'm going to work with the nose and scar wax. Starting off with my spirit gum, just like we did with the cotton balls, I'm going to decide my shape and my angle of my scar that I would like to put on. Now I'm making my scar pretty chunky and quite large, just so you can see it a little bit better. My camera quality isn't the greatest, but you're not going to want to make yours as long. So I'm gathering my things that I need, my Vaseline, my eyebrow comb that has a scoop. I'm putting Vaseline on my fingers and on my scoop because the nose and scar wax is super sticky. And it will stick to you, it'll stick to everything. You don't need a thick layer of Vaseline, just the tiniest bit of Vaseline so it doesn't stick to your fingers. I put a little bit too much on my hand, but that's okay. And again, you want to keep some Vaseline on your scoop. Use that scoop there, and then you'll start creating, again, a little snake in the shape and the length and the thickness that you want. I'll repeat, mine is very thick, and I am doing that specifically so you all can see it in this video. You'll want to make yours thinner. Scars generally aren't super thick, and they'll be a little bit more realistic if you make it thinner. So just sculpting that clay, and then my spirit gum should be ready, and I will place my clay, my nose and scar wax, onto my spirit gum, and then I will start using my fingers and my scoop as a tool to shape and blend in that scar. Again, large scar, generally not that big. Okay, I have it in the shape that I kind of like there, and I will be using my tool to blend out the very little edges onto my skin. And I will also be using my finger. Again, make sure that you have a very light layer of Vaseline or petroleum jelly. Same thing, Vaseline's just the brand name of petroleum jelly. Just smoothing that out, making it blend a bit into the skin. And I have a little long there, so I'm just scooping some of that away and making it go away. So I'm going to work on this for the next few minutes, so go ahead and work alongside me. The wax should kind of warm up and get more malleable in your fingers. So have fun with that, and let me know if you have any questions or difficulties. Again, I'm always on Zoom from 3 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So my tool was getting a little bit of wax buildup, and it was pulling up some of the wax that I didn't want it to pull, so I wiped it off, and then I added a little bit more Vaseline onto it in order to start blending out the top edge of the scar. Okay, that'll about do it. I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of makeup onto the nose and scar wax. I'm going to do a highlight right on the edge because scars tend to be slightly off color from your skin tone. And depending on your skin tone will determine what color you use on your highlight for your scar. So there we go, just right on the edge. I'm adding a tiny bit of lightness to pull it up. I did try to use the kind of bluish gray, the blue purple-ish gray in the bruise kit to add some kind of fresh color around the bottom end of the scar. That color didn't quite work out. You'll see that I'm not super happy with it. So what I ended up doing was blending that purpley gray in and just making it look like a shadow. Remember from the PDF that fresher scars will still have some redness around, or pinkness, whichever color works best for your skin, around the edge of the scar. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. Again, I didn't like that color. I should have probably used either the brown or the red instead. But it does kind of give it some definition, not that this humongous scar that I made needs more definition, but there we are. Just blending a bit more with my Q-tip, and I'm going to check the latex, and nothing's pulling up on my finger, so I am ready to go with that. I'm going to add a base foundation over top of the whole thing. I'm actually going to do my whole cheek so you can see how it kind of blends into the skin. Cream makeup is not the best choice for latex. Alcohol makeup actually works a lot better, but this is what we have, so this is what we use. And when you use cream, you tend to see the edges of the latex a lot easier, and you don't really want to see that. You want to blend them in, especially for movies and TV. You don't want to have any sort of edge to your appliance. Now on stage, depending on the size of the stage, that edge isn't going to be a huge deal. So even from here on this video, you don't see the edge as much as you do up close and in person. So you can see here how the latex takes the base foundation a little bit differently, and it doesn't look as realistic as you'd want it to for film or TV. If I had this color all over my face, it would blend in a lot better. I'm not 100% worried about it for stage at this moment, also because I'm going to be adding other colors and blood on top of it. Just now, what I was using was my stippling sponge and a little bit of the brownish color from the bruise wheel and adding some texture. So I'm going to take that red, and I'm using a brush, and I'm going to paint the inside kind of valley, starting with the red, to give the appearance of a deep cut that has gone into the skin. Then I'll be adding the brownish color to add a little bit more depth. Not as wide as the whole cut. The red is all over the inside of the cut. The brown is a little bit thinner of the area that it covers, and then the deepest color is going to be, that dark gray color is going to be even thinner inside. What I'm doing, I'm kind of taking that brush of the eyebrow brush, and I am stippling on some red around the edges of my opening. Blood tends to spatter, and it's not nice and neat, right? So I'm just stippling a little bit of texture on with my brush. And I'm using my brush instead of my stippling sponge, mainly because it has the area coverage that I like. It's not too big. You can cut down your stippling sponge to get into kind of smaller spaces like that, but I'm going to leave mine intact. You can also use the edge. It's whatever you want to experiment with. So you can see as I'm adding in more colors onto the wound, it's not looking as fake as it did before. Here we go. There's the brown color that I'm adding to give more depth. You can see it's already working the way that I want it to. And then I'll add that purpley gray in over the top. I'm even switching brushes to the really small, kind of thin, pointed brush to add that purpley gray color in, and again, that's because I don't want it to have as wide of area coverage as everything else. I want it to look like there is a sharp, small point that cut the skin, so there's going to be one area in the middle of the skin that is deeper than everything else. Here's the fun part, everybody. We're going to add some blood to this cut. There we are. There's our dark blood. And we're going to use a cotton swab from our kit. So the blood is kind of a gel. It dries as it oxidizes, so that means once it gets air going, it's going to dry in its place. So you can drip that blood. I would start at the top and let it kind of fill in the cut as it reacts to gravity and kind of drips down. And then I'll kind of move the blood down. I'll also show you how to do a drip here as well that is separate than the cut. I try to show you there, but I'm not really super happy with that, so I blend it into my cut instead. I was thinking of maybe putting some spatter up there. I end up taking it away. I don't like it. So play with it, see what you like. Okay, I'm removing that makeup, that blood that I didn't like. I started with my fingers, but I can use a Q-tip to really kind of take that color away. And adding a little bit of that gel blood there. I'm grabbing a clean Q-tip. Oh no, I'm grabbing the baby wipe to take away some of that color. Alright, so that's nice and yummy, right? I think it has a really nice glisten to it. It's super fresh. There's a drip happening, that's what I'm pointing out to. I'm going to try to encourage it to drip a little further, but I believe it's already dried a little too much. It kind of has this casing around it. And so it's less liquidy now and more of a drier gel. Okay, here we're going to show you kind of how this works as a drip situation. So when I do a drip, I start where I want the drip to, yep, to actually drip, and then I work kind of my way up away from that. So we're going to try that again. And you can see it just doing its thing, kind of rolling down my face. As it rolls and as it oxidizes, it will dry in place. It will still be smushy if you touch it, but it won't fall down your face any further. So you kind of have to plan how far this will go. Alright, there's my blood tear that has nothing to do with any of the other wounds on my face. I kind of stipple some fresh blood onto the scrape there too, just to give it a little bit of glisten. And we are actually pretty good. So that's all the techniques that we are doing this week for Blood and Gore. That's the nose and scar wax scar, the cotton ball latex, deep cut, the bruise, and then the shallow cut with the scrapes. I will show you now how to remove everything. You can just take a baby wipe or a wet washcloth and take off the blood and the makeup. You're going to need your spirit gum remover in order to get the cotton off your face. So I'm just kind of picking at that latex until I can start to pull it away. The latex won't rip your skin, but the spirit gum and the cotton ball will. So you remove the latex as much as you can by rolling it off your face, and then you want to use your spirit gum remover and kind of gently pull and break that bond between the spirit gum remover and or between the spirit gum and the cotton ball to be able to pull it off your face safely. If you try to rip it off, you're going to rip off some skin cells, and it's not going to feel very good. You also will rip off hair. So please take care of yourself and don't just rip it off. Bad idea. I'm starting to get a little bit of blood and makeup on my Q-tip, so I will switch over to a cleaner Q-tip and add spirit gum remover onto that. Okay, I got all of that little jiggly guy off of my face. Pretty gross, right? You can just toss that. You don't need to save it. It's kind of a one-use sort of thing. I suppose you could save it if you really wanted to, but it's a little gross. So just taking off some of the makeup, and if my face still feels sticky, I will go ahead and take a cotton ball with the spirit gum remover and break down whatever stickiness I have left. Scooping that nose and scar wax off, it kind of pulls off pretty easily. You still will have spirit gum residue on your face from that, so go ahead and, again, cotton ball and spirit gum remover and get that sticky stuff gone. There we go. Just going to scrub at it until it feels relatively normal again. None of this should burn, so if it does, stop using it and try and get it off your face. Probably should have added that warning earlier. But again, this shouldn't burn. If you're having a burning sensation, that means you're probably allergic to it. So please take care of yourself. Use the spirit gum remover and get that off as fast as you can and wash your face. Alright y'all, that's it. Thank you, and I will talk to you next week.